So, I got a good one today. I acquired a 1960s Silvertone 1457 with amp in case, and I'm going to do a restoration on it. So, the model is either a 1449 or a 1457. It was rebranded sometime in the 60s, and this could be either a 64 all the way through a 67. So we'll date the pots to determine exactly what year it is, but I'm going to assume it's about a 1965 Silvertone. There's a story to this one, but let's go ahead and do the unboxing. It's in pretty poor shape, both the guitar and the amp in case. The amp itself is a 3-valve amp, so it's got a 12AX7 valve for the preamp, a 6V6 for the power stage, and I can't remember what the rectifier is, but there's 3 tubes for sure. We're going to restore that entire amp. We're going to hope that everything's original. We're going to restore the guitar itself, which is in pretty bad shape. The trick to this is going to be trying to clean the finish without removing the glitter. So these Silvertones had probably as an afterthought, glitter on the actual finish, and you could rub it off. So brand new out of the box, if you just rubbed it, those sparklies would just come right off. We want to maintain that finish. So I've been researching restorations of vintage violins, and I'm getting a few good pointers watching those videos, and I'm going to apply a lot of those techniques to the restoration of this 1960s Silvertone. We'll get to the story, but let's go ahead and do the unboxing. Oh my goodness. All right, this thing is pretty heavy. Shipping was pretty crazy because it's got the amp with speaker in the case with the actual guitar. There's just the word fragile written on it, so I'm hoping this is in good shape. This is going to make such a mess. Oh God, this is going to be so massive. This thing is so heavy. Oh, Jesus. One of the things about these guitars, they've probably been in an attic for about 100 years, and they tend to smell. So we're gonna have to address any smell issues we have, and there's probably some mold. Just judging by the photos, the case looks a little moldy, so we'll have to take care of that as well. So rust on one of the latches. One of the latches itself is missing. Dirt everywhere just baked into this case. We're gonna have to clean all this up. This is gonna be a pretty fun restoration job. The handle's intact, rusty. I really should be wearing gloves. The back of the case, or the bottom of it, doesn't look terrible, but it's still really dirty. That's the grill. There's an interesting sheet metal frame around it. Doesn't smell that bad. I'm gonna keep it out here in the workshop. Some black splotches of something, I don't know what they are. Paint, tar, I'm not sure what it is. It's a glossy splotching here. All right, I'm gonna open it and take a look. Okay, the inside does have some bubble wrap. It's got the original Jensen speaker. The handle of some silverware? What is this? I don't know what that is. 4 tubes? Why are there 4? Okay, so there's 2 12AX7s and 1 6V6, and this is a 6X4, and it's out of the socket. So I'm gonna just keep it out of the socket for now. There's tape on it, so that's the rectifier. Oh, I take it back. I take it back. Oh, this is interesting. All right. So the higher end model came with 2 pickups and a tremolo for the amp. So one of these tubes, that's why there's 4, runs the tremolo. That's why there's 2 12AX7s. one of those 12 DXFs runs the trem unit. Now I'm going to flip this around so you can actually see it. So the board, I think this case is made out of particle board, is already destroyed over here. I'm going to have to repair that with some wood glue or something, and it's breaking, so I got to be very careful with how I open this and close it, because I want to restore this. This is some of the particle board that's just rotting here in the corner. Oh yeah, that's pretty bad. Some of the wrap is coming undone. The hinge, okay, the crack goes from right here to here. Rusted hinges. Oh, I can't wait to restore these hinges. It's going to be so cool. Oh, look at this. All right. Oh gosh, that is beautiful. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. I don't know how I'm going to show this, but it's gorgeous. So this is the higher end model, and it's the two lipstick pickups. Still got the glitter finish. There's so much like a matte layer of dust. The fretboard, I mean, all these strings are rusted. Everything's rusted. We're gonna do a whole restore job here. So let me take this guy out, and I think we're gonna just separate everybody. So we're gonna keep the guitar separate from the case, separate from the amp. And let's take a quick look at this guy. Oh gosh, this is amazing. These guitars are absolutely amazing, and for a number of reasons. So this top and back are masonite. So it's semi-hollow. This is an actual Brazilian rosewood fretboard. And not a thin little veneer. This is a decent sized Brazilian, back when you could use Brazilian rosewood, right? This is an aluminum nut. Like for 1960 whatever, there's some pretty crazy innovations here. Original screws, the pickguards of masonite too. The back, so that sparkle finish is what I was talking about. We want to maintain that when we're cleaning everything. Oh, look at the sparkle in the back. It's got a sunburst effect on the neck as well as the body. This has one of the first tilt heel mechanisms ever used in guitar manufacturing. In fact, the inventor of these Silvertones, who is also basically the founder of Dan Electro, invented the tilt heel system but never patented it. It wasn't until Fender patented it, but it was the owner of Dan Electro, who was basically an engineer, who came up with this. Okay, so I'm looking at this. The neck is not set right. It looks like there's more space here on the end of the high E string than there is for the low E string, so the neck is like shifted. But it's sitting in the pocket fine, which means it's probably this bridge. Now, the bridge itself is super unique. The saddle's just Brazilian rosewood as well. The knobs are, what are those called? They're stacked knobs, so it's got volume, I think, and tone on each knob for each pickup. Original switch here, crazy. This is just nuts. Okay, I should be wearing gloves. I don't know where this thing has been, but it's gorgeous. This thing is absolutely beautiful. So I think, again, we're gonna be restoring the guitar, restoring the case, restoring the amp, and we're gonna probably start with the guitar, but I'm gonna start here because we need to remove the pickguard, look at the pots, so we can date this. I need to know for certain what it is. I shouldn't really be touching this. We just gotta give it some love. We're gonna take apart the entire thing, get every bit of rust gone, clean it all up. We're going to make sure all the electronics work, repair everything on here, and we're gonna get this thing rock and rolling. There's some kind of flora and fauna growing on the actual frets. They don't look like they've been, I mean, they're just normal, vintagey, small frets. They don't look like there's any divots. So I'm very pleased. This looks like it's completely original, 100%. We just need to give it some love. All right, so let's move this over, and I need to take a look at the case and take a look at the amp. Well, actually, since we're here, let's take a look at the foot switch. So I need to put this somewhere safe. Where am I gonna store this? All right, I finally got smart and put some gloves on. Let's take a look at this foot switch. Oh, wow. This is an original guitar patch cable. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's some white growth on it. I don't know if they actually had plastic back in the 60s, so I don't know exactly what that's made out of, what this material's made out of, but that is the original foot switch with the matching fabric of the case. The button still sort of engages. I don't know if this is fully original. Is it just a button like this, like a metal? Or did it have some kind of plastic piece? Rubber on the bottom. And then another tube. This is a GE. This is a 6X4, which is interesting because this other 6X4 that's here, which I believe is for the rectifier. Both made in the USA, that's all I can see. And I really want to use the original tubes. Even if it's maybe a little noisy, I still want to use the original tubes. If I have to replace them, I have the original ones, which is what I want to do. I want to kind of maintain everything with the exception of the depth cap. So I want to make sure that we go to a proper grounded 3-prong. I will keep the depth cap with these original tubes and keep the original 2-prong. But I want to maintain the originality of this. This is complete. This is amazing. If I can restore this case, it'll be super cool. All right, let's get back to this guy. Oh, the back is a mess. So what I'm gonna have to do is remove, I might just do that right now before I destroy this even more, is there's 2 hinges, right? One here, one here. And this is the one that's kind of messed up. There's a crack about right in the center. It goes all the way to the right. This is totally wrecked. I'm going to remove the left, this side hinge, remove the right hinge. That way I can separate these 2 pieces. This top piece is the amp, and I can work on that separately while I reconstruct the case for the lower portion. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Actually, I'll do that off camera. I should do it now, but I'm just so excited about this. See, the issue with the design is that there's only one of these, what do you call this, accordion metal things that holds the case open on one side. It doesn't seem to be one for the other side. And so that's why it was kind of always heavy on the amp side, and it just crushed that corner there. So this is the original Jensen, made in the USA in Chicago. All the original knobs. This looks like it's in great condition. And this is cool. The inside of the case looks like it's in pretty good shape. So I'll use this as a reference to what the outside should look like. So I'm going to be removing, obviously, this entire amp section. So I'll be working on the amp separately, working on the case separately, working on the guitar separately. So this is going to be sort of a huge restoration project. And this is not something that I'll do a series on. I'll be doing this on my own time, filming, and then compile it all together later. But this is the only thing that's really troubling, and I can reconstruct this so easily. Look at, you can't see this, maybe you can. The red felt is in great shape. Everything on the inside looks like it's in fabulous shape, it's just dirty. So let's get to story time. I started playing guitar when I was 10. I started off on acoustic because that's what we had laying around, and I took lessons from the local guy who played in the church band. That was cool, I learned a few chords. But always, since the beginning, I wanted to play electric guitar. And obviously electric guitars aren't cheap, especially not in the early 80s when I grew up, getting an amp, etc., etc. Luckily, my uncle was a musician, still is. He played in bands in the 70s. My mother was able to borrow a guitar from him. And that guitar that we borrowed was a 1960s Silvertone. It wasn't this model that I have, the 1457. It was the lower end model, which had one pickup, black, sparkly, and it was a shorter scale. You see a lot of those around. And that's the guitar that I started on. I also was able to borrow a little fuzz box from my uncle. It was like a muff fuzz. I remember that's the guitar that I learned my first electric guitar riff on. It was a Beastie Boys song, No Sleep Till Brooklyn. So I learned on that guitar, I had a blast. My parents realized I was truly invested, and so we were able to actually buy my first real guitar and give back the borrowed guitar to my uncle. And here we are, decades later, and I have my very own Silvertone. Needs a lot of work. I believe this is going to be about a 3-video restoration trilogy, if you will. So we'll be reconstructing the case, which I've already started. We'll be removing the tube amp and the speaker from the case and servicing that from the ground up. Switching out that 2-prong cord for a proper grounded 3-prong, removing the death cap. Remember that amp's based off the 1964 Fender Champ. And then we'll get to eventually restoring the guitar. Truly what we want is to restore that luster that it first had when it came off the production line. I'm going to try my hardest to do that. Until then, thanks for watching, and take it easy.